大家好，欢迎收看阿用台语，我是阿用。今日有一个特别来宾，伊是你台语的名叫做崔灿 ，Is that right? 崔灿。
Yeah, maybe.
崔灿 Okay, so this is Tristan. She has a YouTube channel called Tristan H. Cui Tan. So we'll put the link down there. You can check it out. She does videos about
Culture, anything. I sing, I dance sometimes.
culture, singing, dancing, cool. And recently, though, you have been starting to learn a little bit of Taiwanese. So
Yeah.
How long, by the way?
Oof. I haven't. It's hard to set a time because I haven't found like a textbook that I can follow.
Right.
But I feel
I
like
have the same
my
issue.
process of learning started about a month ago.
A month. Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what we want, right? Is to show people like how do you get started learning
Yeah.
Taiwanese. So I thought it would be cool to ask you like what are some of the things that you found in this first month? Because I forget kind of, you know, like what it was like in my first month. And I remember there was like tons and tons of problems, but I don't remember which ones were like the biggest and like worst ones. So it would be great if you can tell us sort of what problems you've encountered in the first month. And I've got my handy dandy whiteboard / Samsung tablet over here.
You Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
Handy dandy notebook. I think the first and biggest one is probably something you've already covered on your channels, which is the tones. Because I speak Mandarin, I've learned Mandarin for a while, and to me the tones make sense and I get them and I know how many there are. And I ask somebody who speaks Taiwanese and they tell me, you know, we don't really know how many there are, or they're like 13, or they're 8, or they're 5.
Yeah, it's all different numbers. Yeah.
And it looks different from what the Mandarin
tones,
pinyin is. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the tones. So I have a video on this. I have a series of the pronunciation videos. To be honest, though, they could be improved, which is fine. There was an older series from like 5-6 years ago that was improved last year, but still could be improved. But I recently did a series on this exact issue in Taiwanese. So unfortunately, the English audience is going to have a little trouble understanding it. But I'll give you the short version, and hopefully that will help get you on the right path. So the tones. Okay, how many tones are there? It's a really, really, really like difficult, maybe impossible question to give an exact answer to.
Oh.
Okay, so that's like the first thing. But there is one sort of really important way to think about the tones that makes it super easy. Okay. There are 3 tone levels. 3 tone levels. That's all you need to know. 3 tone levels. And the 3 tone levels are do, re, mi. That's it. So in all this talk about Taiwanese tones, there's so many different tones here and there, and there's 10 or 11 or 13 or 8 or whatever. Yeah. There's 3 tone levels, do, re, mi, finished. So I know it sounds like too good to be true, right?
Right.
The tones, the way that we understand them is not listening and saying, oh, that's a C sharp. Therefore, that's going to be tone number 7, right? That's not how we understand it. The way that we understand the tones is by listening to each word, or each syllable really, in succession. And so you have to know what's the next syllable in order to understand whether the previous one was higher or lower. That's how we do it. And there's only ever going to be these 3 sort of pitches. So you're a singer, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be super easy for you. So do, re, mi.
Do, re, mi.
You got it. You know all the Taiwanese tones. If you can do that, you can do the Taiwanese tones perfectly. I'm serious. So okay, we can make a little like chart. I'll draw it here. I'll throw a picture up on the screen or something. But basically, this is the way that I look at it, and I think it works. So we've got do, re, mi going this way, and then what we have are different qualities of tone. There's different qualities of tone. So tone is kind of a bad word in Taiwanese, I would say. It's not really like accurate because it's not just about pitch. It's about the whole like characteristic of the voice. So one of the ways that you can do it is just by being totally flat. Okay, so you can have do, re, mi. Those are 3 of the tones. And forget the numbers, forget the tone markers, whatever. But we've got tones that are totally flat. Okay? Then we've also got tones that can either drop or they can rise. And then there's one other kind of tone which is not found in Mandarin at all, which is a short tone. Short. Okay, so we've got, essentially, if you look at this like box, you can imagine we've got a high flat tone, we've got a mid flat tone, we've got a low flat tone, right?
Yeah.
We've got all these, so at most there's going to be 12 possible tones.
Okay.
But if you're already at the low one here, then you can't fall down. So there's no low falling tone.
Oh, right.
Yeah. If you're already at the high one, you can't go up anymore. So there's no high rising tone.
Okay.
So the reality is there are 10 actual tones.
So rarely does anyone ever go from do to mi or mi to do.
Yeah, so this one kind of does that. But the key point is really where the tone starts, not where it ends.
Okay.
So the one that falls from mi, it doesn't really matter if you fall exactly to re or a little bit below re or all the way to do. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it's going down. So here's all the tones. We'll just use the sound like, I don't know, gi, okay?
Okay.
Just randomly. So we've got gi, gi, gi.
Gi, gi, gi.
Yeah, and then we've got over here, we've got these two sort of falling tones. One is going to be the high falling and one is going to be the mid falling. So we'll have gi, gi.
Oh, gi, gi.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a rising tone and we'll have a low rising and a mid rising. So we'll have gi, gi.
Gi, gi.
Yep, and then we have the three short tones. So it's going to be do, re, mi again, but this time short. Gi, gi, gi.
Gi, gi, gi.
That's it. That's all 10 tones of Taiwanese.
Okay.
So all we have to do from this point, which I can show you maybe off camera a little bit later, is which marks correspond to which things. But that's basically it.
Okay. Makes a lot more sense than like what people have told me about 13 tones. No, it's 8 tones. No, it's 5 tones. How about like at the end of words sometimes where you see the small n?
Okay, so the small n is the nasal one, right?
Yeah.
So for the small n, if you see that, it's going to be exactly the same word, just with a nasal. So like wa, that's to be close to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got wa, which is a bowl.
Oh.
Wa.
Wa.
Yeah.
Wa. Wa.
Wa. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
There are a lot of what I would call ghost consonants.
You mean like silent consonants, kind of?
A little bit. Like sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. like when I hear people speaking, I think the word for me is wa. I always hear wa wa wa. But sometimes I hear a gua. And sometimes, especially in songs, part of it they'll sing wa, and part of it they'll just be like gua. It's very like obvious.
Super obvious, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So there are 3, potentially 4 consonants. Maybe they would be better called either onsets or initials, but they're effectively the same thing, but they only come at the beginning. That a lot of people have a really hard time with, and it doesn't matter if you are a Taiwanese person who is not a native Taiwanese speaker really, but you mainly speak Mandarin. A lot of the younger folks, they have trouble with it. We have trouble with it coming from English. Obviously it depends on what language you're coming from. Here's what's happening. There are sets of 3 consonants where in English we only have 2. So there's another consonant in there that we literally cannot hear because we're not used to it. So in English we've got 2 consonants, let's say for the bilabial, so that's putting your lips together. So we've got B and P, right? Mm-hmm. We've also got me, I guess, but we'll talk about that in a second. B and P. So in Taiwanese, there's a 3rd one in there that we just don't have. So getting that one is going to be hard for us to hear, it's going to be hard for us to say, it's going to take a little bit of work.
Okay.
And it's the same for let's say English, we've got g and k, but we're missing the one that's for wa or whatever that one's supposed to be, right? We're missing that one. And we're also missing the L in Taiwanese romanization, which would be in English, we've got D and T, but we don't have the B. Right. So we're missing one in each of those 3 sets, and there's also one for the G, Chi, and we're missing the Yi.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. So we're missing one in each of them. But I have a sort of trick for how to get them to say them correctly.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing to understand, and I've definitely taught this wrong in the past, so forgive me. But the first thing to understand is that the letter B and the letter M, and I'm just going to use this one as the first example, is that in Taiwanese, these 2 letters are the same. They're the same letter. Like, throw out any conception you have about how B and M are supposed to sound, they're the same letter in Taiwanese. The only difference is that the M has an implied nasal vowel. Oh. So B and M are going to be the same exact sound, one nasal, one not. And here's how you practice it, okay? So this is a very easy one. You can just say the word ma. Ma. Ma, yeah, perfect. And you've got the nasal, right? Ma, and you can hear it. And in English, when we say the letter M, we do have a little bit of a nasal thing going on. Like me. I can hear the nasal, even when I speak English, the word me, right? Me. So what you want to do is pinch your nose up, and you're going to say a word like, just say me or ma or whatever, but you want it to be clear. So if you just say it normally, it sounds like this, right? Me. It's like super nasal. Yeah. That's because it's a nasal sound, so it's going up there and getting blocked. What you want to do is say it so that it sounds clear, but it's definitely an M, okay? From the English speaker's perspective, you're saying an M, it's just not blocked by your nose. So it sounds like this, B, ba, and that's the Taiwanese B. So you want to try that?
Yeah. So me is very blocked,
That's
right?
the blocked one.
Me. That's
so
not blocked,
no,
right?
so you got to bring it. You got to bring the noise down out of your nose into your mouth.
Me.
B. Yeah.
B.
Yeah, that's the B.
Okay.
That's the B. So it's going to be exactly the same for the G.
Okay.
For the G. So that's where the, like in gua, for me, right? Then we've got, we have an NG. So NG is like ng.
No.
Yeah, so it's like ing in English, but at the beginning of a word.
Okay.
So we don't have that in English, but that's usually pretty straightforward. So like, for example, the number 5 in Taiwanese is ngo.
No.
Yeah, so that's reasonable enough. So what we want to do is the same thing, right? If we pinch our nose and say ngo, we can hear that it's like super stuck up there.
Yeah.
So we want to pinch our nose and say ngo, but then bring it through the mouth so we don't get it blocked by the nose. So we go like this, go.
Go.
Yeah, that's the Taiwanese G.
Go.
Yeah. So that's where when you hear gua, right? If you did this NG thing, it would be like, if you said like ngwa with an NG, that's wrong. It's getting blocked. So it's gua. That's me.
Gua.
So you got a little bit too much of a g in there, like a regular English G.
Gua.
Yes, yeah, the last one was good, I think.
I just realized a lot of this is very musical. Did you know when people are learning how to sing, like higher notes, and they rely on their like nasal area, they use this as well and like try to clear it up.
Yeah. Well, it's a very musical language. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really love the music in Taiwanese. It sounds so nice. I think all the tones and all these like different voiced sounds that they really fill out a song. But that's interesting to know. Yeah. So the other one's going to be the N or the L. Right, N or L. So let's say we've got a word like ni, which in Taiwanese does not mean like you. It means like to, what's it called? To your hair, when you do color your hair?
Dye?
Dye your hair, yeah. Ni. So
well,
ni.
your Taiwanese is better than your English. Cool.
So ni, and then that's going to be a nasal one, right? Ni. Oh, it gets blocked. So if we bring it down, ni, that means you, and that's the L. Li. Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Pretty much like that.
Pretty much. Okay.
So that's how you're going to practice those 3 sounds.
Okay. I feel like sometimes it's not pronounced and sometimes it is.
Okay.
Right?
When it's not pronounced, there's almost always what it is that the person who's speaking it, even if they're a singer or whatever, that they don't usually speak Taiwanese in their daily life. That's almost always what it is. The people who speak Taiwanese every day, all the time in their daily life as their normal language, they would never drop the G because it has to be there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we've cleared up some of your initial problems with it?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I'll give you some super basic phrases to get started, yeah?
Okay.
Just like, hi, how are you, that kind of thing.
All right.
What are you up to? All right. So first one is going to be probably a greeting, like hello, right? So the most common one that you're going to hear, usually, it's not going to be di he. Everybody thinks like, oh, di he, this is Mandarin basically, from ni hao.
Yeah.
So one of the common ones you're going to hear is going to be called LÄI-KHԻ.
LÄI-KHÍ.
It's that L, yeah. LÄI-KHÍ. Yeah, LÄI-KHÍ. And these are both going to be flat re. LÄI-KHÍ.
LÄI-KHÍ.
Yeah, and LÄI-KHÍ means come have a seat. Come have a seat. So one of the things you're going to find out when you get started learning is that a lot of the like sort of small talk greeting type things are really situational. So if it's reasonable that somebody could ask you to come have a seat as a greeting, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, hey, Tristan, LÄI-KHÍ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've also heard of, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, but Jababwe.
Jababwe. So if there's no seat for you to sit on, that's another common one that they might ask you. So they're going to say, have you eaten yet? and they're going to say either 假爸 boy or 假爸 be. So boy or be. And this is a dialect difference in Taiwanese. You're going to hear a lot of different, like minor differences like that, but we can learn both because you're going to hear both anyway.
Okay.
So we're going to get 假爸 be.
假爸北.
Yeah, and that's the last one is the b, the b, the b that we're not used to. 假爸 be.
假爸北.
Yeah, and 假爸 boy.
假爸北.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
So the tones for this one are going to be, we're going to do do. That's going to be a flat do.
Okay.
This one's going to be mi falling, and then this one's going to be a flat do again. So it's going to be do mi do. 假爸 be.
假爸北.
Yeah, perfect. Or 假爸 boy.
假爸北.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So that means have you eaten yet? And the typical answer that you're going to say is yes, I have eaten already. If you say no, they're going to go try and make you a meal. So you kind of have to answer that you've already eaten, even if you're like starving, unless you want them to make you a dinner or lunch or whatever. So you're going to say 假爸啊.
Oh, 假爸啊.
假爸啊. Yeah. So same tones exactly. Same last one here is ah. 假爸啊.
假爸啊.
Yeah, and that means I've already eaten. Yeah.
Okay.
Another one that's really common that you're going to hear all the time. That's kind of the English equivalent. I think of it as kind of like what's up, what's up, and what it means in Taiwanese when you ask is where are you going?
Oh.
Where are you going? So it seems like maybe a little bit more personal than the English one, like what's up, but it's basically the same kind of flavor.
Flavor.
So, yeah. So if somebody says like where are you going to in Taiwanese, you can just say like out. You don't have to be very specific. You can just say whatever. So the question is going to be Li be ki te wi. Li be ki te wi.
It's all the same?
Yeah, li be ki te, those are all flat. Li be ki te wi, that one's a re.
Oh.
So mi re.
Li be ki
Be.
de. Li be ki
Te
de wei.
wi.
We?
Yeah, we.
Oh. Oh my gosh, it's too long.
So we can shorten it.
De.
Li
Li be
li be ki te wi. Li be ki te wi.
Li be ki
Te wi.
de wi.
Yeah, li be ki te wi. Good. And we can shorten it though. There's a short version. Maybe it's a bit easier.
Okay.
It's going to just be be ki te.
Be ki de.
Yeah, be ki te.
That's easy to remember.
Be ki te. So you can ask somebody if you see them, hey, 假爸呗, be ki te.
Oh.
So like, have you eaten yet? Where are you off to?
Yeah.
Right? Be ki te. And then you can just say like, I'm going out to buy something. So you can just say like, be ki be mi kien. Be ki be mi kien.
Be ki be mi kien.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So it's mi do re. Be ki be mi kien.
Be ki be mi kien.
Yeah. So that means I'm going to buy some stuff. Be ki be mi kien. The tones are perfect, by the way, and the audience is going to tell you because that's what it is. Just this do re mi thing over and over again. So mi do re. Be ki be mi kien. Means I'm going to go buy stuff. The first one, by the way, is be, which means want to, and then the second one is be, which means shopping or to buy. So they sound exactly the same, but they're different words. Be ki be mi kien. So be ki de
Be ki be mi
kien.
kien.
Yeah, be ki be mi kien. Something like that. Cool. So that one you're going to hear a lot too, probably. And then we'll just do one more. We'll do a see you later. So wa be lai.
Oh.
Wa be lai.
Wa be lai.
Yeah, wa be lai. So that's the same be, which means to want or to be going to do something. Wa be lai.
Wa be lai.
Yeah, so that means like I'm leaving now, basically. Lai in this case means to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you think it means to come.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's actually because lai in Taiwanese, lai is a very funny word. It actually means to come, but it's also a contraction of the word meaning to go. So the word for to come here and to go there are exactly the same in Taiwanese. They're both lai. The difference is in the tone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So wa be lai.
Wa be lai.
Wa be lai. That means like I'm gonna go. Basically means see you later, something like that. Wa be lai.
Okay.
And if you do want to say see you later, like see you next time, you can actually say like 再会.
Oh, 再
会.
会.
Yeah.
再会.
再会. Yeah. So that's gonna be me falling. 再 and then 会 is ray.
再会.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so let's do a quick recap, yeah?
Yeah.
So we got LÄI-KHǐ.
来这
Good. We've got 假爸呗
假爸背
or 假爸呗.
假爸背
Yeah, and then we've got the answer to that, which is yes, I have eaten 假爸啊.
假爸啊
Good. And then we've got where are you going? So you can say the long one, đi về kỹ tờ uy.
Đi về kỹ tờ uy.
Perfect. Or you can do the short one, về kỹ tờ.
Về kỹ tờ.
Yeah, and you can say I'm going shopping. Về kỹ bê mì kiện.
Về kỹ bê mì kiện.
Perfect. And then we've got see you next time, we'll see you later. I'm going to take off. You can say 我要来.
我要来.
Perfect. Or we can say like actually see you next time, which would be 再会.
再会.
So
再会.
all right, thanks everyone. We will see you next time. 再会.
Bye. Long-time subscribers of Taigi probably have already seen him cover the topic of misconceptions about Taiwanese before, but we also did a video on that topic on my channel. So if you're interested, you want to know more, please check it out.
Yeah, go down there. Link is in the description. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
再会.